30 years ago, Dubuque had the highest unemployment in the United States. That was the worst recession since the Great Depression until this one. And within 3 years, we had lost 20% of our workforce. There was an exodus from our community. We were losing our friends, our neighbors, our loved ones. We were a different community. And that, in many ways, was the beginning of Greater Dubuque development. Well, the intent of building this Big Tent organization was to bring all the factions together. There had been people who were involved in economic development before. There were people in City Hall, there were people at the Chamber of Commerce, there were people at little subsets of economic development. But the thought was, let's bring them all together and try to chart a new course. I was hired back in 1995, and at that time we had a budget of $180,000 a year, and we were a hand-to-mouth operation. Well, today, fast forward 16 years, we have a budget of about $1.6 million a year. I think we have the finest economic development staff in the United States. It's because people stepped up, and it's because, beginning in 2002, with the River Valley Initiative, the Board of Directors said we need to have long-range plans and we need to have long-range funding.
The River Valley Initiative was spurred by the idea that we really were looking year to year for funding. The goals of the River Valley Initiative were, one, to secure over $2 million of funding. In addition to that, were to bring in 2,500 jobs and $200 million of commercial construction. In each of those areas, we certainly exceeded the goal, both on the front end and the back end of the campaign. The investment that was made at that point, in 2002, was critical to our ultimate success as an organization and as a city.
When we set out on Destination for Opportunity 4 or 5 years ago, we really had 4 major goals. One, we wanted to continue to grow the workforce in Dubuque. 2, we wanted to spur construction in the city, both commercial and residential construction. We wanted to add population to the town. And we really wanted to create a focus on new business marketing, bringing new businesses into Dubuque that we've never had before. So in those, over the last 4 or 5 years, we've been successful in actually growing the jobs base in town despite a terrible recession in the national economy. We've met our goal of more than $300 million of commercial construction with a year left. Our population is growing. We expect to meet our goal on population growth, and we've had dramatic success in our national marketing.
The River Valley Initiative and Destination for Opportunity campaigns have changed our community in so many positive ways. But most importantly, they have brought us together. Greater Dubuque development combines the power of the public sector and private sector to achieve 3 critical missions: workforce development, business retention and expansion, and national marketing.
At the heart of our workforce initiative is AccessDubuqueJobs.com, which is an online portal that is basically the place where employers post their jobs and folks looking for work can come and find employment. Now, some of that may sound a little theoretical, but from our own company, we use Access Dubuque Jobs as the primary way of attracting local talent. Just last year, we hired over 100 people in town, and Access Dubuque was probably the conduit for more than 70 of them.
For example, when IBM came to town for the first time to assess whether or not they could hire talent in our community, we were able to draw resumes from AccessDubuqueJobs.com and plop 600 qualified applicants in front of them. None of those applicants even knew that IBM was looking at Dubuque, but that was a powerful tool in recruiting that company to our community.
What I think about the business retention policy and expansion policy of GDDC is just the support, the everyday support. It's calling Dan McDonald and having him come out to your office and talk to you about what's going on in the community and having a voice.
In fact, in the state of Iowa, there's about 950 business retention and expansion interviews done every year. 250 of those are done in Dubuque. We're 3% of the state's population. That's how robust our program is.
One of the big new areas of emphasis was national marketing. We wanted to take this community and really showcase it to the rest of the world about what Dubuque has to offer. And based on our efforts, we had two wonderful successes. First, IBM was attracted to town and they brought 1,300 new jobs to Dubuque. And then Progressive Processing, a subsidiary of Hormel, was their first new facility in the United States in over 10 years.
So GDDC has been recognized in virtually all three of our goals: in workforce development, business retention, and in national marketing.
And when you look at national marketing, projects like IBM over the last 4 years have been identified by a number of different ranking agencies as the #1 deal in the United States of America.
We have come so very far from the dark days of the 1980s, but we must not rest on our laurels. The next campaign will deliver what's next for Dubuque.
The goals of the next campaign are 3,300 new jobs, over $700 million in new construction, $18 an hour in average wage, and 96,500 in population.
One of the things the next campaign is all about is making sure we don't get complacent as a community, that we continue to make the investments that will make Dubuque a great place for business and a great place for workers.
So by investing in Next, they're doing what I think most of us as employers all believe we should do. It's the right thing to do. You're investing in your employees. You're investing in your employees' ability to live in a community that's thriving.
These ongoing efforts by Greater Dubuque Development are key to providing a truly sustainable initiative for our citizens that is not only environmentally and socially sustainable, but economically sustainable as well. 30 years ago, we were the greatest victim of a serious recession. Today, in a greater recession, we are a shining star in this great nation. Join us in creating what's next for Dubuque.